India's really going to regret that wrong review that they took because Quinton de Kock was out. What was he at that point in time? How much was he on when Washington Sundar, I think? He was like I think he was around 20 or something. Gets on to 79 not out.
Yeah, but that first review, I mean, leave alone what happened in the second decision. That first review, I mean, again, there was a point at which you remember during the review, before the decisions come in, Rohit is looking at Deepak Chahar and saying, you really called that?
Yeah.
And what happened? Virat was just too trusting of his bowler.
Yeah.
I felt he trusted his bowler where he probably should have realized that the bowler a lot of bowlers go with emotion.
Yeah.
Some bowlers are smart, very few bowlers actually are smart enough to say, that may not be out. Most of them go with the emotion. And exactly the point that, we were discussing, the wicketkeeper was going down the leg side.
Correct.
The wicketkeeper's movement is the clearest indicator of where that ball is going. That review cost us really bad.
Yeah, it did. And the thing is that here's the situation. I remember seeing it on TV. We saw it live as well. So I was seeing on TV and I said, that's missing by 2 stumps at least. Right? Your first instinctive reaction is this missing by 2 stumps at least. Later it turned out that I was actually giving credit to the bowler because it was even pitching. Even the impact was outside leg stump as well. And then of course it was going 3 or 4 stumps down.
Let's get into the mind of Deepak Chahar for a little bit in trying to explain, not justify what is done, but explain what goes on in his head. So in his head, he runs up and he bowls out swingers to right-handers. That's what he does.
Yeah.
The ball goes from leg to off all the time. And generally he'll go past the bat. And the reason that was straighter is because there was a lot of swing. So he was trying to get straighter and bowl what would be termed a magic ball so that it would go from on the stumps and swing away. But as we've seen many a time, if it's swinging from off stump, from 4th stump, from 5th stump, as soon as you try and go on the stumps, your wrist breaks a little bit and you're not going to bowl the magic ball. It just carries on with the arm.
Yeah.
So he's thinking in his head, I'm trying to bowl an outswinger. It's pitching on leg, but the wrist's not up. So it goes down the leg side and his emotion is, this is what I bowl every day. This is an outswinger. I'm telling you, that's wrong, that's wrong. But he's convincing himself. He's telling himself because that's what he believes. He's emotional about it all and he thinks, I've got it, I've done it. I wanted to go straighter, I went straighter. I've hit him on the pad, must be out. I bowl out swingers.
Yeah.
And that's where keeper comes in to say, no, that one didn't swing.
Yeah.
Skip, that one didn't swing. We shouldn't go upstairs. But think about the situation of the game as well and all that's going on. Oh, can we get one? Can we, at worst, someone would have said, at worst, it's clipping the stumps, right?
Yeah.
And so you go upstairs because you're gambling on it.
Yeah. Well, this is why
it wasn't a good review.
This is what Rohit told me once on my show. Where Rohit, I said, well, as captain, another thing you need to do is DRS calls, right? He just said, I trust my keeper. I said, what about the bowler? He said, never listen to the bowler, never listen to his exact words. But who's his keeper in MI? Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
No, I think
Rohit should have asked Quinton. He was at the non-strikers end. Hey, buddy, should I take that DRS? Come on.
Because Rohit was clearly, the body language was, you called that, you went up for that, he's got hands on hips, and he's looking at him because he knows that that's not out. The other thing is, in Virat, in some ways, it was strangely sweet that he trusted bowler, and then he said, "Oh God, that was a terrible review." There's a certain amount of innocence and trust which is good, but as I said, sometimes you can't trust your bowlers that much that
As Rohit says, never, ever, ever trust them. But I like, Pommy, thank you for that insight because that's such an important insight. Because also, sometimes we forget that as pace bowlers, when you guys bowl the ball, your eyes do go off it for just a split second, don't they? In the follow through.
Yeah, there's angles, there's a whole lot of stuff. If you think about the fact that the stumps are in line like this, and you bowl from here. So there's already an angle.
Yeah.
So right from the beginning, the ball's got to go in a direction towards, to exaggerate it, from mid-off to fine leg, right? Not quite like that. Yeah. So the guys who get closer to the stump, so Glenn McGrath, trying to think of others who get right over fourth stump, Vernon Philander, get over the off stump, they can go wicket to wicket. And if they hit you on the pad, generally you're out.
Yeah.
Because they get so close. But most people, it'll be half a foot, might even be a foot from the off stump. And therefore they're bowling at an angle that goes in towards right-hander and must then just shape from there, right? So if it's hitting you that side, the angles are such that in order for it to hit the stumps, it's got to be swinging like a boomerang.
And if it swings like a boomerang, DRS won't pick it up anyway.
Correct. You know,
Yeah.
so that's hectic. So you're not going to get too much of that happening. And as the bowler, it's an emotional thing. You can't be running up thinking, no, I didn't get you out. No. You can't. Nobody's thinking that.
Yeah.
For the bowler, just about every time, you're out somehow. I don't know how, but I got you. You're out.
You're out.